This subject is very important to me, and today's subject I want to dedicate to my friends and family working late nights in parking lots with blind corners trying to avoid escalating conflicts. And so this is kind of pertaining to workplaces, independent business owners, which can be shortened as an IBO. And the concept here is isolation. And in an article dated September 18th, 2013 in the Sun newspaper, it stated that nationwide violent crime has gone up by 0.7%, but property crime has gone down by 0.9%. But within this nation, in between are what I like to call pockets. And here where I live, in the Inland Empire, I would call this area a pocket. And for example, property crime in San Bernardino has gone up 24%, Pomona has gone up 13%, and Redlands has gone up 14%. And I think the core issue here is that people in the United States have forgotten the definition of liberty. That the America our parents built so that we could have what we do have came from ideals and capitalism, which creates businesses, jobs, and opportunities. It's a path that takes sacrifice, investment, overtime, men, fathers, women, mothers that haven't lost their basic instinct to protect, provide, and survive. IBOs, maybe your wife or daughter is an employee that closes up by herself, or maybe she's just a bystander witnessing the act of crime at the wrong place and wrong time. The tactical vulnerability here is that there's an identifiable routine and location that can be scoped and studied by criminals. We have to really look at the area and type of businesses. For example, Mr. Z I know, he works at a printing company which is stocked with PCs, Apples, copy machines, and it's in an old, slow downtown area where it's very quiet. And we look at that. He has a newborn, he has a wife, house bill, and he's working hard. And for him to go to work, it's a necessity for him to be there. And many times he's by himself. And I think for many people who work alone or who have their own businesses, they know what it's like to try to avoid escalating a conflict. When an irate customer comes in or comes back, you are suspicious. You immediately you are aware of the potential threat. Another individual I know, Mr. K, he can't afford more employees, so he's working at a shop late night till like 2 a.m. in the morning. And individuals will come in, and it could be two individuals, and it's really a risky situation. We look at different ways to defend the situation. He recently just got a PD-35, and perhaps he's thinking that would be a deterrent, the power to kind of blind them, might deter them from doing anything. He did take a pepper spray from me, so if it escalates, he perhaps has at least the advantage, something discreet. He could make the initial move, put the attackers on the defensive and sort of at a disadvantage. And that's where something like maybe then a small discreet knife, if this was dark coated so it wouldn't shine, that the attackers, if they initiated physical aggression, and it was at that point in the continuum of force that you could defend yourself and injure the opponent without them realizing that you were carrying a knife, and then perhaps escalating it to the point of where then those attackers have a gun and use it. And it's just challenging. We think about what we can do in these situations. Carrying a gun on the person, on the belt all the time, would maybe deter some individuals, but for other individuals, they'll just know that based upon the routine that you're always there at a certain time, you always do carry a gun, but you're by yourself, it's identifiable. Another person I know, Miss K, she works in a business center. Here's the main street. And the complex layout has it to where her office entrance is facing away from the main street, blocked by a series of empty spaces for lease. And as taxes increase, businesses can't sustain themselves. Governments are putting more regulations, pushing for different types of energy sources. It's just increasing the cost of everything. We're going to see more and more businesses that are going to close down. And it's kind of created what I like to term ghost streets, where if you own or work at one of the small independent businesses still left operating, it's going to put you in a situation of being isolatable. You stand out and you become a target that can be isolated. So the key point of this video is isolation, and to avoid being isolated. If you can't have strength in numbers, you have to learn to have strength individually. And this is why there's companies like Sabre that make pepper sprays that have unique features for defensive situations, to companies like Phoenix, individuals like myself, where our goal is to help isolatable individuals be able to still be empowered and defend themselves. If the world is full of more bad people than good, then that means as a good person, you are probably outnumbered. So you need to have the strength, the tools, the skills, and the outlook to defend yourself. So as always, thank you for watching. I appreciate you guys taking your time to watch my videos. It's truly an honor to share and hopefully help, even if it's just one individual, whatever I can do to contribute to the tactical community. Thank you.